The new Jedi Order. Rey is going to start training the next generation of Jedi in an upcoming movie from Lucasfilm. But do we know who might be training with her? We've got a list of possibles from the Star Wars canon. Just announced at Star Wars Celebration in London, the new Jedi Order film will be set 15 years after The Rise of Skywalker. There is no New Republic, Hux exploded it when he took out Hosnian Prime, and there is no Empire during this period, so the entire galaxy is trying to rebuild itself after like a century of Sheev Palpatine shenanigans. That means the same thing for Rey Skywalker. While the dawn of the Jedi and Old Republic took centuries to build up and down and back again, it's all gone now with Rey left to rebuild the new Jedi Order, and she'll be doing it very much under the guidance, indirect or not, of her master, Luke Skywalker. That's according to Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, who in an interview with IGN wouldn't necessarily commit to a Luke Force ghost, but said that Rey at least would rebuild with his tutelage and example in mind. The question remains, which lessons would Rey turn into cornerstones? Luke, while pretty much the greatest of all time Jedi, lived with many regrets, chiefly his part in how his actions motivated Ben Solo in his eventual turn into Kylo Ren. Under Rey, would teaching methods change? Would she loosen the Jedi tenet of non-attachment and celibacy? Would she honor the old and burnt texts? She certainly seemed to have the best of intentions last we left her at the end of Star Wars Episode 9, but she's going to need more than that if she hopes to build a successful new Jedi Order. She's gonna need help, if not a whole council. Let's talk about Rey's best options moving forward. This is a big one and really should have been made more clear in the sequel trilogy. Some, including me, think this trilogy dropped the ball on Finn's potential as a Force wielder. In Episode 7, it was hinted that Finn had not just resistance potential, but true Force sensitivity. It was implied he could hear the terrified screams of the people in the Hosnian system before they were wiped out, much like Obi-Wan during the destruction of Alderaan. And he did land a blow on Kylo Ren without specialized training. All of this was then sort of ignored, then brought back in Episode 9 as the thing Finn wanted to tell Rey about but never got the chance. It also seemed he could sense non-obvious things about the Vexa snake, Kylo Ren's approach, and he seemed to feel Rey die after her climactic battle. And the fact that, yes, Finn is Force sensitive was a point revealed by crewmakers in interviews independent of the movie. I don't know why they decided to not make that more clear in the movie. It would have taken 10 seconds. I'm not gonna mince words. They fumbled the bag hard on Finn's Force sensitivity and underexplored an entire plot with him. The main trio in the sequels, Rey, Finn, and Poe, is in many ways very close to the original trilogy three, Luke, Leia, and Han, and I'm going to easily slot Finn in the Leia role in that they were both secret Force users, even though you can make an argument he and Poe could oscillate between Han and Leia roles for various reasons. Much in the way Luke had an overt connection to the Force and Leia's was only brought up lightly later on in the story, Finn has that potential and only needs to train and expand his connection, much like Leia did between trilogies. He is an excellent candidate to not only grow as a Jedi, but to serve as trusted counsel to Rey. At the very least, it seems probable he'll pop in and out of the new Jedi Order, and at least be known to Rey and company, especially considering they had the same master. Our guess is he would primarily be in Dave Filoni's New Republic movie, but could also make a crucial appearance in the new Jedi Order just based on how he ages. Grogu would be in his 90s 15 years after The Rise of Skywalker, which means if he's 55-ish now, he'll be old enough to speak the Mandalorian creed, but probably not quite teenage years yet. Remember that Master Yoda was some 900 years old once he finally got sick of Luke's whining and just decided to, you know, stop existing. Anyway, Grogu has massive Jedi and Mandalorian potential as someone who seems to be very Force attuned even in a toddler life stage, along with his loyalty to the Mandalorians via his adopted father, Din Djarin. Of course, he turned down a chance to train with Luke Skywalker himself to go zip around the galaxy with Din, but make no mistake, the Force still has plans for Grogu. Think about it. One day, far in the future, if there's ever a threat big enough to force the Mandalorians and the Jedi to unite, Grogu is gonna be the one to make it happen.
A Mandalorian and a Jedi? They'll never see it coming.
The son of Cere Syndulla and the late Kanan Jarrus, we only got a quick look at Jacen when we first met him during the Star Wars Rebels finale, and we still don't know a whole lot about him. But we can only assume that he's Force sensitive thanks to his dear old dad. We should get some kind of update on Jacen when the Asoka series drops this summer, since Hera is already confirmed to appear. She's at least gonna let us know what Jacen's up to. But by the time Rey starts up her new Jedi Order, Jacen would be an adult. He might need a teacher. He might be someone who could teach himself by then. Either way, he's someone who could very easily be involved in Rey's new academy. And of course, Rey's new Jedi Order should mostly be made up of new youngling characters. The little Broom Boy on Canto Bight at the end of Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, who is apparently named Temiri Blag, the most glup shitto name I could have even imagined, represented something very starkly different than our largely Skywalker-focused timeline: outside potential. While the kids are excitedly playing out Luke Skywalker's final battle with toys, it's not really about Temiri Blag or any specific child, but the inspirational and uniting power Luke's legend turned out to be. He started out as a farm boy, hopefully staring out into a binary sunset, and ended up being the figure that united the galaxy to stand up to the First Order and win. The little Broom Boy, who seems to be a slave, if not a servant, is just one example of youths realizing their call and responding to it. Rey's new Jedi Order will be filled with brand new youngling characters, the personifications of hope, the most core, central concept of the Star Wars story. Okay, so they wouldn't be students, obviously, but Calcast and Cere Junda could be valuable assets as instructors in Rey's new academy. If Calcast is still around by the time Rey starts up her new Jedi Order, he would be older and a bit more experienced than she is. He's a young adult during the Dark Times. There are 2 major wars that he has to live through to get there, but if he does, he'll have a lot of valuable experience under his customizable poncho that he could share with the next generation of Jedi. Same could go for Cere Junda, though if she survives through the New Republic's war with the First Order, she would be elderly, and would have half a century's worth of experience living through major conflicts to share. Quick break. When we come back, we'll break down what Force ghosts we might see. Be right back. In IGN's interview, as mentioned earlier in this video, Kathleen Kennedy said that as Rey attempts to rebuild the Jedi Order, the spirit of what Luke represents will be significant to her. While she didn't commit to a literal spirit, an appearance from Mark Hamill, it is at least possible Luke could reappear as a memory, if not a Force ghost. This seems like a very natural course to take, as Luke is quite possibly the most important Jedi ever, and Rey's master. Luke continued to learn lessons into old age, as we saw in The Last Jedi, and finally embraced the power of the Luke Skywalker legend and the hope it gave others instead of rejecting the lie he'd believed it represented. Hopefully, he'd be there in some form to help Rey and her students in a great time of need. This one is another circumstantial mystery. We really don't know what Asoka's status is at this point. Remember, voice actor Ashley Eckstein provided a voice in the chorus of Jedi Past as Rey called to the Force at the end of The Rise of Skywalker, so it stands to reason that by this point in time, Asoka might no longer be living. Based on that voice role, it's safe to say that Asoka might have been a Force ghost by the time the Battle of Exegol went down. If she were still alive by the time Rey forms her new Jedi Order, Asoka would be about 85 or 86 years old, which according to legends, not canon, puts her near the end of a Togruta lifespan of about 94 years. Ahsoka's story should be more definitively clear by the end of the Ahsoka Disney Plus series, if not Dave Filoni's New Republic film, but regardless of her meatbag status, she would likely not be fit to physically aid Rey and the new Jedi, but more as an advisor. She'd be a killer advisor though, as she's watched the Jedi Order from the prequel/Fall of the Jedi era, with her own master as the one who kinda made the Jedi fall, to surviving Order 66, through the reign of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, and then the New Republic. She's seen a lot and been a lot as ruling forces have risen and fallen. Few have seen that much important galactic history, and none else have seen it through Ahsoka's eyes, inside and out of the Jedi Order. Ben Solo, we hardly knew you, because you spent most of your time as a fascist a-hole, and not enough as a heroic sweater-clad sweetie pie, my exact type. Ben had enormous Force potential as the last living member of the Skywalker bloodline, and now he is even more with the Force because he is dead. He really turned it around in the 11th hour with a memory of his father, Han Solo, making him realize it wasn't too late to run from the dark side and fight for what his mother, Leia, stood for. He made his way to Exegol and killed 6 nameless whatevers, the Knights of Ren, with his grandfather and uncle's lightsaber passed to him by Rey through a seemingly impossible connection. He and Rey were absolutely more powerful together and shared a very unique bond. Before he passed on, they had a kiss, and a very small, inaudible exchange, which the movie's novelization confirms is him saying, "I will always be with you," and her whispering back, "No one's ever really gone," mirroring what Luke had said earlier. It makes sense that a very strongly attuned Force user like Ben Solo would and could reach back to who the movie very pointedly calls his other half, someone he'd called through the Force many times in life. Plus, it's really bad to make your last words be a promise you don't keep. And hey, since Force ghosts can apparently appear in their preferred form like Hayden Christensen did for Vader, why couldn't Ben appear in his shirtless form, which Rey might kind of like? Why couldn't they Force date? It would keep Rey Jedi single technically, if that persists as a rule still. What, she's gonna get in trouble for the Force being her boyfriend? I doubt it. There you go, Reylo shippers. You win, I guess. Anyway, who do you think needs to be trained in the new Jedi Order and who's qualified to train? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and for more Star Wars, check out our video on if any of the newly announced films will actually get made. And don't forget to follow and subscribe to IGN wherever you like to watch.